Well, would you look at that? It appears that DLive has gotten a little bit of an upgrade, showing the exact number of viewers. Stefan Molyneux has 172 people watching him. Building the Realm, 62. Not too shabby. Seeing as how Building the Realm is, well, you get it, nowhere near as famous as Stefan Molyneux. High Impact Flicks, 630 live viewers. Lift the Veil, 315 live viewers. And Owen Benjamin, 1415. Titus Frost has 129, and then there's a bunch of people with one, much like myself. And then Metal Bear, the Portuguese speaking dude. He's got 234 people watching him. He's a gamer. No, it's just interesting to see the numbers without having to click on them. You can now just see it from the quick sidebar, which is kind of cool. Interesting. All right. What is going on with my lemons? I like to pay attention to this treasure chest and release it as frequently as I remember to, basically. I was going to say can. That wouldn't be quite all the way accurate. So I titled this, uh, let's see here. What is going on? Truth Seeker. Good evening. I am currently live streaming now at this point. Did your audio get fixed?
I believe so. I
Yes,
was
yes, it did.
taking care of stuff around the house, so I'm gonna push to talk.
Very good. Well, I can hear you loud and clear. Need to remind myself what I named my stream tonight. Oh yes, growth, maintenance, recovery. Question mark, question mark, question mark. The thing on my mind. What is going on with this? Yes. So I have the chat live stream, which kind of shows what's happening in the chat, and it goes right here to Discord, so that's super convenient. Um, that made me really excited when I was able to set that up. So anybody that comments on YouTube or on D Live, nobody watches me on Twitch, but any of those platforms, their comments go straight to Discord in the chat live stream,
Oh, very cool.
and then anybody that comments on Discord, it Restreamio also will take those comments and put them back onto YouTube and uh,
Yeah, that's very
and
cool.
DLive.
It brings them all together.
Yeah, it's really nice. Not that I need to be in that many places, but what happened was YouTube started to threaten their user base, and I decided to kind of transition over to DLive, and I did a lot of, so I wanted to not just drop the one, I wanted to, two time it, and that's when I found out about Restreamio or Restream.io, and it's a nice tool. But then I got really tangled up in using Discord for all sorts of stuff, and now I can basically have my cake and eat it too, or eat my cake and still have it.
Sounds like you're sampling all the cakes simultaneously.
Something like that. So I had a couple of really cool conversations today about Dead Sea Scrolls, Bible translation stuff, specifically some difficult questions like who the quote unquote sons of God are. Um, it's an interesting topic. But the reason I named my stream what I named it is because I don't know if I had ever shared this with you, but I I started a challenge this year for push-ups. And on day 1, I did 1 push-up. On day 2, I did 2. All the way until June, or no, just the end of May, actually. The end of May, I believe. My daughter broke her arm, and in preparations to go pick her up from the hospital, I was trying to readjust the car seat, and I popped a rib, and it hurt overwhelmingly to try and do any push-ups. So I took a little bit of a hiatus, about a month, longer than I expected. And then I came back at it. And within the last 2 weeks, I was doing great. Everything felt excellent. In the time of coming back, I did another. So I had gotten to just under 10,000 at my stopping point, from day 1 of January 1st to the time when I had to stop from the popped rib. And then from the 10,000 mark to now, I'm currently at 16,800, which is a fine number. But if I kept the track, never had any stopping, by December 31st this year, I would have been at 67,000 and some change. The issue that I'm finding is I don't know. So that's why I named the title. I have some ideas, but I titled this because it's a difficult topic. So I
So
again,
these are push-ups throughout the entire day, or these are like one shot.
yeah, so throughout the day. So I broke it up over 13 sessions. Um, when it was in the early stages, all the first month basically, I was doing them like, you know, 5, 10 all together. I wasn't breaking them up at that point. I didn't start breaking them up until about week 3 or 4. Um, and then I started breaking them up a little bit here and there, and then once it got into about March, I went ahead and committed myself to the hourly, 13 times a day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So right now, if I were to try and follow the schedule, I'd be doing 14 push-ups every hour, and then 15 push-ups a couple of the hours. But I've done some intermittent taking off of time. I started taking off on Saturday, um, and what I don't know, I got a lot of discouragement from people that have like done heavy lifting and working out hardcore and stuff, that have injured their bodies and have horror stories to tell. I don't know if you know Crack Villain.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, he's on the 2.0 server, and I was just curious. But anyway, he's got a fun screen name, Crack Villain. It's a fascinating name. But anyway, he's one of the guys that mentioned injury, and then other people that have done lots of working out seem to have a lot of cautionary tales regarding overexerting, because the current number that I'd be at is about 184 push-ups in a day, which really hasn't been that big of a deal, except I've had like a little bit of elbow pain, but not when I should. Not because of overexertion, but because of something else. And it's this whole nature of doing supporting exercises. So I basically set a plan for myself at the beginning of the year, ignorantly, um, to challenge myself to do a thing, not knowing all the potential implications. And now I've been fantasizing about new challenges that might help be a little bit more well rounded, um, and not just one set of muscles. Specifically, like shoulders, chest, and triceps is basically what push ups help. Um, So I need to come up with a more well-rounded challenge for myself. And the reason I'm trying to challenge myself is not because I want to look awesome. It's because I have a 45-hour a week desk job, and I don't want to let my body go to waste. Basically, just trying to take care of myself.
Yeah, perhaps maybe a more broader approach to the type of push-up you're doing, like incline, decline, etc.
True, there are advanced. There's even one the ways that you can progress towards doing a plank or planche push-up, or one or the other. It's either plank push-up or planche push-up, and it's where it's crazy. Your hands are like beside your abdomen, almost at your hips, and you do push-ups with nothing touching the ground, not your feet, nothing, just your hands. Um, but I'm nowhere near able to do something like that because it involves a lot more muscles, like core strength type stuff. But yes, I've looked into one called the V sit and one called the muscle up, which you might have heard of before. Muscle ups are where you do a pull up, but you keep on going. And anyway, I'm just speculating. It's just one of the things on my mind right now, as well as current events, explosions, fires, um, and how doing physical exercise can parallel, and like just setting a plan for yourself and committing to it, how that can parallel with um, the way that we grow and strengthen um, biblically, spiritually, those educationally, even. Seems like a weird time to try and learn new stuff, but at the same time, it isn't, especially if it's something that is going to enrich your life and the lives of those around you, like gardening, for instance. So, anyway, don't turn to a 45-hour a week swivel chair troll.
That's my job too.
Yeah, you have an office job.
Yeah, working from home for the
Okay.
past 6 months.
Oh, oh wow. Okay, 6 months. Yeah, so early adopter of the working from home option, huh?
Yeah, it was go work from home. Go. Get out. Don't come
Yeah.
back on Monday.
Well, at
Take
least,
anything you need. Talk to the IT guy. Whatever you need, don't come back. We'll figure it out and we'll let you know. Everybody go home.
well, it's a good thing you and the others that were afforded those opportunities. It's my mom is another one of those that was able to just be sent home. I believe my aunt was my sister. Um, yeah, there's a lot of people I know that were my sister-in-law was able to do that. But anyway, I've been working from home. I just happen to have one of those kinds of jobs, remote. Um, it's amazing how many people can work from home, and I can't help but think that there's going to be a lot of commercial real estate opening up, and I just wonder what they're going to use it for. All those offices, all
Yeah,
those
no, I'm following. I was just thinking about that for a second. What would one use them for if not for business? Yeah.
FEMA. I don't know.
Shipping. Lots of shipping opportunities.
Yeah, turn them into FEMA camps though. You could do that.
We were just thinking about the ultimate shipping opportunity.
Mm, yes,
Just more trafficking.
yes, yeah. But I mean, I haven't really seen a huge influx because I've been looking at commercial real estate. Um, because in the next couple of years, I hope to have a place to move to, and I've even been looking into like church properties and stuff like that, converting a church, like an old church, into a home, that sort of thing. It could really, it could really be a cool thing. Uh,
Absolutely.
I thankfully had the opportunity to be a well-paid Antifa writer. Man, you probably been making bank then. That's fantastic. Um, that's not fantastic at all. I'm bleeding with sarcasm. Also, um, for those of you just watching, most of you watching right now on D Live and YouTube are in my Discord, and you could hop in the conversation, not have to type. I understand that there's restrictions like family situation and where you're at in the house and background noise and those sorts of things to take into consideration. I get it. But for those of you that that's not a need or a consideration.
But if I can do it with a baby on my hip playing dad mode while mom does other stuff, you can too.
It's a hard thing to argue with right there. That is good stuff. All right, so I mentioned a couple of topics that I was interested in thumbing through this evening. Um, I'd like to hear from anybody in the chat and you, uh, and I'm just going to refer to you as Q Aaron, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeet.
Does that work?
That'll be fine. Or Aaron, or
Yep.
All right.
Ron,
Yeah,
as
yeet.
many has just decided to default to.
Ron, nice.
Not my intention when I came up with it. It's just 44R0N. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Yes. The phrase "sons of God." So let me address this. So Deuteronomy 32 verse 8 is one of the examples, and in the 4Q37 scroll of the Dead Sea Scrolls, that's just the name of the scroll, is 4Q37. In verse 8, now they allege that this specific scroll is one of the oldest. It says, um, B'nai Elohim, so the children of God. Now, what's interesting is most of the translations, most of the English translations you'll find will say the sons of Israel, because a lot of the manuscripts um, say children of Israel or sons of Israel. Now, obviously, there's a lot of back and forth on this, and it's a little complicated. It's only one example. Excuse me. But my real question, a long-standing question, because it's not just my question. I didn't come up with this. Um, is who are these people? So some people think that they are people. Some people think that they are angels. Some people think that they're hybrids. Um, I guess there's really just 4 or 5 potential categories. Let's go through as many of those categories as we can, and then you all share your comments along the way. So one potential is a genealogical, I feel like I need to write this down, but I think I'll be able to remember. A genealogical son of God, which we can pretty much eliminate right away, considering Jesus was God's only son. So we can throw that one out the window. Um, I say genealogical. There's maybe I should say biological. That doesn't
I
quite
would
fit.
refer to that, yeah. Biological.
Just because it's kind of the term that we use as humans for a parental child relationship that are blood related. So yeah, that's the first category I'm referring to, is the quote unquote biological children of God, which again, there was only one of those, so we can throw that out.
So it's the emphasis on where you were born.
Well,
What dimension? What realm?
no, I'm just trying to come up with as many possible categories and examples of what the sons of God means, who they are, and we'll let me see if I can pull up a list of the
Isn't
sons.
there a reference in Job that does a really good job of adding context to the sons of God statement?
Bible verses. Yeah, I think Job mentions it a few times.
Job does a very good job, I thought. I thought that was
Verses.
a big send home for me.
Give me a moment. Just a
And
moment.
do you take any do you add any or
Job is
give
one.
over any?
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. So that was Job 1:6. And then there was Job 2:1. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them to present himself before the Lord. So that was just in the next chapter. Then Job 38, then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now gird up your loins like a man, and I will ask you, and you instruct me. Where's the sons of God in this? Oh yeah, it's all the way at the end. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding, who set its measurements, since you know, or who stretched the line on it? Interesting. Interesting. On what were its bases sunk, or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Now, that is probably one of the best examples because it gives a time and a specific example and a behavior. Um, it paints a little bit about the character of who they are. It says that it shows that they were observing creation, um, which is fascinating. Um, which, as I continue to delineate the different categories of who and what they are, um, it will that verse right there will clarify why some categories couldn't possibly exist, and that would be really any human category in a lot of ways because humans hadn't been made yet. Um, so
Nor could a human stand in the presence of God and not be physically damaged.
there you go. There's that. Now, there's a very interesting. Let me see if I can find this verse. I need to take this, and I'm gonna go make this go on my screen so that you guys aren't just staring at my face all night. Because nobody likes that. Okay. I'm gonna move Discord over here. Okay. Move this. There we go. And I narrate so much of what I do. It's kind of funny to me a little bit when I overly narrate. All right. Go. Why is this bothering me? Go away. All right. We are good to go. Let me zoom in here, make this a little bit bigger. And then on Discord, I will share my screen because I'm sure you're not necessarily watching. That way everybody gets to see. It'll just be fantastic. Thankfully, I have way more than enough bandwidth to do just basically everything at the same time. There's a guy named Chris. You may or may not know who I'm referring to when I say Chris. But anyway, he has a massive folder of information and 27 gigs. Just resources, truther information, all kinds of good stuff. I'm currently downloading it, and after about 15 hours, it's at 50%. So, you know, it's one of those free file sharing websites, so it goes really slow. But this is really meaningless information that I'm sharing with everybody right now. I
I'm not
apologize for the distraction. What?
You can't talk about such a treasure trove and how you're downloading it without eventually handing out the link or making it accessible.
Oh yeah, I'll share resources. I'm not trying to be stingy, and I'm gonna try and put some of it on my server here. This little Discord server here among friends. All right, so here we go. I am going to try and find the specific verse. I believe it is in Genesis, though. So Genesis. Let me see now. No. I think it's in Is it in Deuteronomy? Let's see. No. I thought it was Deuteronomy. I know what it is. It is. It's Deuteronomy 32:8, which I had already mentioned. Deut 32:8. I don't care what are we gonna do? Bible Gateway, Bible Hub. We'll just do this. This is fine. All right, so Deuteronomy 32:8 is a verse that's very fascinating. It's the one I started out with. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided the sons of man, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of God. There's a couple of things that come to mind. Now, according to the number, I have to look into that verse a little bit more. But that's talking about the Tower of Babel and how he separated the people, set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of God, which is an unknown number because there's still a lot of mystery about who these sons of God are, what they are, who they are. But they're important. They show up a lot, no less than
So,
31 times. What's up?
so in like when you say in the Revelation stuff, and that number will be 666, that's considered like the number of man or a reference to. And you're saying that potentially the sons of God have their own number then, and we don't know what it is?
I didn't consider it being an analogy in that way.
Like numbers mean to like, the number 10 is like complete and like number 7 is like perfection and all stuff like that. So like
Yes,
when
I
you
know.
have the
Yeah,
number of the beast is his number will be 666. So is
according to
that
the
like
number of the sons of God.
or is that more like the tribes of Jacob? Like there's 12. So for the sons of God, there's actually 36 total tribes, sons of, you know what I mean? Lineages, kin, something, I don't know, families.
Mispar, it's like to tally, to count, to number. So it is referring to the number in count, as in how many there are. But that doesn't necessarily. Is there an Old Testament verse that talks about the number? I feel like there is only New Testament number of the beast, right? Let's see here.
Well, the other thing is with the insane usage of the number 12 and how that has certain significance and going in that route, but no actual numeric reference besides number of commandments and number of days of creation.
No, oh, you're talking about the number of man being 6 and the day of creation of man being 6, and is that a coincidence?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't
this is
I
all
don't
this is
think that
all
it
God's code.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a coincidence personally.
Well, there are no such thing as coincidences, but what is the meaning behind it is just a bigger question that you don't necessarily can answer.
I never quite understand that saying or statement that there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's probably a little due to my autism, but I understand the sentiment behind it, so I try not to get caught up on critiquing that. Um, I'm like, things happen at the same time all the time, coincident, but as far as the colloquial meaning, is it by chance? Is it accidental? I agree with the sentiment of what you just said. So I'm just being goofy when I bring that up. So Ephesians 1:5 is brought up as a parallel verse to this concept of the sons of God. He predestined us to adoption as sons through Jesus Christ to himself. Um, that's fascinating. More of the divinity of Jesus and um, the godness of Jesus, is demonstrated in that as well. Sons through Jesus. Anyway, so that you will provoke yourselves as Philippians to be blameless and innocent, children of God, above reproach. Yeah. So then the phrase gets used in more ways than one, and that's what complicates it. Um, Now we are children of God, and it has not appeared as yet what we will be. Just talking about the future and um, how we're going to be different. We know that when he appears, we will be like him because we will see him just as he is. And everyone who has this hope fixed on him purifies himself just as he is pure. So there's going to be a change. So
To add to that,
the big question that some people speculate on is that whoever the sons of God are, the children of God, whoever this group of people were, the ones that were singing during creation, those ones, whoever those people are, we will become among those people according to the way that this phrase continues to be. This is one potential speculation. We'll look at there. Mr. Rice Ray himself has joined at such an opportune moment as I continue to dive in to what we were talking about a mere 4 or so
This is
hours
why I
ago.
joined, because I clicked on your live and I saw you were talking about that. So that's why I joined, as
Yeah, man. I like to I'm one of those chew on the cud guys that I think about stuff for weeks at a time. And in the moment, especially when I'm working, I I can't get very far in my imagination or thought or any of that. But I just continue to chew on it and think about it. And I reread the verse. So anyway, Aaron, Rice Ray, Aaron, live stream. We have Aaron and Rice Ray. And then, of course, this guy, whoever I am.
Yeah, that guy hosting the thing, you know.
So I read the verse again, the Deuteronomy 32:8. And I'm going to read it out loud again right now and tell you what my initial, what I wasn't capable of recognizing earlier when we were casually talking about it. So I'm going to read it again. And this is the Berean Study Bible version. So whatever. But when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided the sons of man, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of God. So my initial reaction when I read that verse, that for whatever reason I couldn't bring my mind to earlier, was this phrase, according to the number. Now, you, Rice Ray, seem to be taking that in a little bit different direction as far as how that was parsed out, and that each of the quote unquote sons of God was divvied out for that division. Um, and what I was thinking when I read this was maybe the division, maybe this is just a mathematical statement in
That's what I said. It
Deuteronomy.
sounds like a variable. Like you could almost use the word variable, like by a factor of the amount of sons of God.
So let's say hypothetically there was 1,000 sons of God. Hypothetically, I don't know what the number is, but just a hypothetical number.
For the example.
What I'm saying is maybe he divided at the Tower of Babel the sons of man by 1,000 separate groups, hypothetically.
Right.
What do you think about that? Can you poke some holes in that idea?
Well, it's pretty much that. Again, I'm not going to be, because we don't know the number of the sons of God, right? And I would even go as far as to say that only the chief of the sons of God are in charge of nations, right? Like this term is used in Daniel, one of the chief princes, right? Referring to Michael, who in Daniel is the prince or the ruler or the son of God in charge of Israel. So I would argue that only the chief of the chief angels or the chief princes or the chief of these sons of God rule over a nation. And I would argue a number close to 70, right? And so I
Yeah,
would say that,
the 70 nations kind of thing.
yeah, so I would say
Yeah.
that the table of nations basically is kind of related to that, and that you would have 70 nations according to the number of the sons of God. But that goes a little bit like, you know, I'm exegesing the text a lot here, right? We're not told the number. We're just told they were divided. And it's not people, it's Bnei Adam, right? So we have literally a pitting of Bnei Adam, sons of men,
Yeah.
versus the Bnei Elohim. So he divided the number of the sons of men according to the number of the sons of God.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So there's some cross references here I want to go over. I That's why Bible Hub and Blue Letter Bible and all these resources are so nice, is when they can help. I mean, I know that there's study Bibles that do this really well too, but it's just so easy online. But
Bible Hub is great.
I
Yes.
I have my my paper Bibles and stuff for the inevitable in end of the world that may or may not come in my lifetime. All right. Anyway, Acts 17:26. From one man he made every nation of men. Uh, uh, let's not stop there. I want to, but from one man he made every nation of men to inhabit the whole earth, and he determined their appointed times and the boundaries of their lands. I can't help, this is Acts. I can't help but think that this is referring to Adam, and that all the nation, or is he or could he be talking about um
It's either Adam or Noah, right?
yeah, because
Because
it's got to be an overarching, it can't be like Jacob. It can't be
No.
Abraham. It's got to be, because it's every.
Yeah, so it's either we go to Adam, which is the obvious, but we could go to Noah. If the flood was worldwide, obviously Noah would fit also there.
For sure.
Seth.
Oh, no,
No,
because
because Seth is the son of Noah, right? So not all of the nations are from Seth.
you're talking
No,
about
Seth.
Adam.
Uh,
Seth,
no, I'm
son of.
talking
Oh,
about.
okay, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, the son of their
Sorry.
second.
Yeah, but Cain had offspring too.
Right.
Yeah, I thought Shem. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. All right, so Numbers 23:9. For I see them atop. Sorry. For I see them from atop the rocky cliffs, and I watch them from the hills. Behold, a people dwelling apart, who will not reckon themselves among the nations. Okay, these are all cross references for this specific verse of dividing the sons of man according to the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of God. All right, so that's what these verses are cross referencing with. That anyway, Deuteronomy 33:28, which is same book, just a couple of verses later. So Israel dwells securely; the fountain of Jacob lives untroubled in a land of grain and new wine, where even the heavens drip with dew. Fascinating reference. Psalm 74:17, you set all the boundaries of the earth. The earth has boundaries. Fascinating. Sorry, you made the summer and winter. Contrasting two extremes there. Micah 2:5, therefore you will have no one in the assembly of the Lord to divide the land by lot. Therefore you will have no one in the assembly of the Lord. Now I need to look this verse up.
Yeah, this one can be tricky because the assembly of the Lord in Jeremiah and things like that, that's literally the divine council. But here it could simply mean the assembly of Israel, which can also be called in a way the assembly of the Lord. So context here is king, I believe.
Yeah. In the congregation, kahal.
Church,
Congregation,
that would be the
assembly,
people.
company, multitude. Let's see what Gesenius, the Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee. Let's see here. Same thing. Fully
You must
called.
click the cookie notice.
What's that?
You must click the cookie notice.
Oh. Take all my cookies. And they apparently. Oh yeah. Let's do it. It's fun to see the Greek word too that they chose. Ecclesia is what they used.
Yeah, that's the word for church.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for. I say yeah. Like I already knew that, but I don't always think about all the people, and by all I mean single digits, but still all the people that will end up watching my videos. So I don't know if you. I guess I should make sure you know that I am live streaming. I don't know if you already knew that.
Yeah, that's how I knew the
That's
topic.
right.
So I clicked on your live stream, I heard the topic, and I joined because it was related to.
That's
the
right.
different topic.
That's right. All right. So interesting cross-reference verses. Interesting situation there in Micah, because it's saying you will have no one in the assembly of the Lord to divide the land, which seems slightly oppositional to you will have no. Yeah, what is the?
Well, to divide the land, I think here in context, the land is the Eretz Israel, the land of Israel, dividing the land of Israel in portions for each of the tribes. I think this is what it's talking about.
In that
Not
day,
dividing the whole earth.
yeah, shall one take up a parable against you and lament? Awful. Micah is a.
Again, I think the strongest parallel to Deuteronomy 32, verse 8 and 9 is obviously Genesis 11, right?
All right, yeah. Is Genesis? I don't think a Genesis 11 showed up in this little list. Because you're saying Genesis 11 shows the sons of God. Is that
Well, it used the phrase, let us go down and confuse their language.
that's right? Thanks.
So Yehovah is addressing, in my opinion, these sons of God, right?
And the
then
whole earth was
Yehovah, the
of
Lord,
one.
is going to
Yeah.
proceed. Yeah, he's going to proceed to divide the language and assign nations to these sons of God.
And you really have to keep a kingdom mindset.
And the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one." I'm sure that's a echad there.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Yeah. The Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. What a weird sounding word in modern English. Builded. Um, behold the and the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they began to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go, let us, go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So, Hava, Narada, Narada.
Because Deuteronomy 32 refers to the division of the nations, and that's one event. It never happened after or before, right? It's Babel. And then in Babel, we have obviously in Genesis 11 the let us. And God says, God is addressing something or someone, because he says, now man has become this, or now, and then he says, let us do something about it, basically.
Yeah.
And again, if we identify the let us there with the sons of God, then the other two let us of Genesis 1 and Genesis 3, right, would also refer those sons of God.
Yeah, Genesis
And just
1:26
again,
with the "let us make man
yeah,
in our image," and Genesis 3:22, and the Lord God said, "Behold, the man has become as one of us." Um, that's
and let
interesting.
us go down.
Genesis 3, that's a different way of using the word us, because in 1 and 11 it's let us and let us. But in Genesis 3,
Man has become like one of us, or something like that.
yeah, the man is become as one of us. It's just a different way of using that word. Um, become. Oh, interesting. So that's the way it reads in English, but that's not the way it reads in Hebrew. Let's see. Viomer. Um, Adam, Adonai. Da, 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 da.
Well, one is Echad there, one of us.
Yes. Yeah, which is weird because I thought Echad was a number. You would think that there would be a little bit more of a word there, like belonging or like.
You also have Ayah, right, which is a form of Eye, when God says Eye, right? has become, right? The form has become Eye Echad Mimenu. I'm not sure to pronounce the other one.
Lada'at. I was trying to find this. Yada.
Adam is the men, right? Like generically speaking, like the men. Adam, Haya has become Echad, one of us.
This is the word for, right? The Lada'at here. Is that Yada?
Which word?
Pretty sure it is. Are you able to see my the live stream?
Oh, give me a
Like
second.
in Discord. I'm screen sharing
Yeah,
on Discord.
Oh, on Discord.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, because I'm using Bible Hub.
Oh. I was trying to make this bigger for everybody else's benefit. Oh my gosh, it's so big. What just happened? Am I in a different verse?
Echad, Adam.
Yeah, so it's this word that I was looking for, Yada, and I think it was, yeah, this Lada'at. Is that's the right word, right? Pretty sure.
I don't know. Bible Hub doesn't even give me Yada. Bible go
In verse,
go on Bible
this
Hub.
is chapter 3. This is chapter 322.
Right, because it says here, Ha Hadam, the man, Haya has become Echad, one, menu of us.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why it's different here in the
significance to the fact that this is a 322 verse.
No, I give no. I actually get really annoyed when I recently was trying to teach a bunch of young people how Pastor Steven Anderson is a false teacher and stuff, and I was scrolling through tons of Steven Anderson sermons and stuff to like bring evidence and stuff. Anyway, one of the things that he was talking about was like, I don't know, some New Testament book, and he was like, chapter 6 verses 6, and then in this book chapter 6 verses 6, and he was trying to pull out some type of like numerology significance, and I was like, you know, that's not how it was written, right? You know that all that numbering system came hundreds of years later, right? So no, I don't trust that there's much significance.
I say more along the lines of the worldly forces that are using that number for their purpose. And is there some kind of hat tip to this verse?
Yeah, gotcha.
Because this references sons, so I thought it was significant in that way. Self-elevation.
Gotcha. Is it because Bible Hub's not using the Masoretic? Is that why?
I couldn't tell you, or it's either me who's not looking at the right place and I'm very off, but I'm just reading the last or the first 4 words, but they would be the last 4, right? Hine, behold, Hine, Ha Hadam, Haya, Echad, Haya, Echad, and then Mimenu. Maybe they made a mistake there. It's not, it's just weird. Let me see. You looking at it or?
I'm on Bible Hub now. Yeah.
Right. So behold is Hine, Ha Hadam, Haya, Echad, and then there, menu of us.
Yeah, Lada'at is the next word. So I was, yeah. So
it's to know.
Yeah. Which is not the Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. So parsed properly, it's infinitive. I'm not really good with
Yeah, I'm not
the grammar stuff though.
saying it goes a little bit over my head. To be fair, like there's a couple of like in a hahadam that's all right because that's just basic. But then preposition and so on, yeah,
Now this is
grammar rules. I'm
interesting, the
not
way
sure.
that Bible Hub breaks these phrases down, and it uses the word united. That's fascinating how maybe that's what this I wish I better understood this prefix preposition ka. Can you teach me more about preposition ka?
No, no.
Yeah, well, I was
Again, I
asking
know he named it the whole because of the song.
Bible Hub to help me,
Oh,
not you.
right.
I don't expect you to know
Good.
everything, dude.
Yeah, too much expectation on me.
Yeah, no, that's just fascinating where it says preposition K or for the um is this a
Masculine singular.
cuff cough this letter um maybe I could look this up.
Is that not what's to the other side of the pipe? Masculine singular.
Hebrew what are you talking
The rest of the us
yeah,
sentence.
so number masculine singular is referring to the ahad part.
Got it.
The ka is the part that makes it not just saying the number one. Uh,
Yeah, it's a
so the
like one or as
yeah,
one thing.
so biblical Hebrew prepositions.
I mean, if it's that easy, a ha is a the, so then this is just a as. A ka is a as or like. If it's that easy, then that's the answer. But not sure.
Well,
Because if you look at the ha adam, right, the man, ha, the preposition is ha, that's a the. So
this is a
then that's just yeah.
well, I just found an incredibly intense educational
Yeah, look there. It says biblical Hebrew has four main preposition, right? It said the prefix as like.
as in like
This is the
perfect. Yeah, that's really this. But yeah, this is an excellent
meaning from.
resource. Good grief! I'm gonna post this on the server because boom, I'm gonna have to pen that later. It's okay. No need to do that right this second. But yeah, that's I mean this thing is really intense. Uh, it goes through every single like all these forms, the Hiphil, the Hishtafel, the Hithpael.
Right. It shows
I
the river
learned
example, right?
like
River, in the
six
river, the river, in the river.
yeah,
Ba, na, ha. Yeah, they use them there.
yeah. I learned like 6 or 7 of these and there's tons. I mean, all the different forms.
Yeah, Hebrew is extreme. Because especially for us, because it has no common root with any language we speak.
yeah,
At,
yeah,
at, at least Greek or Latin or things, there's words you're gonna pick up, but Hebrew is like starting from zero. So.
yeah. All right. I feel like we got in the weeds on this a little bit, but
Yeah, on the us. You know.
that was fun. Yeah, thank you. It was the us thing that was fascinating me. Thank you for the reminder on um, why I went down this path.
I think if you look right there on the right side, scroll a little cross reference. Obviously, you're gonna find that Genesis, probably the other right, Genesis 126 right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Blessed are those who
then
wash their robes so
Genesis
that they may
11.
have the right to tree and life in their city gates. Genesis 2:9. Organic makers. Yeah. Yeah, the other one is the 126 for sure.
It's not the same. I'm looking at it in Hebrew. It's different.
The let us make.
Well, yeah, it's let us make in our image according to our likeness. It's weird. Um, Let us make man according to our image, according to our likeness, something like that.
Accomplish. Fascinating.
And then you have the same language in the 27, but then now it's all singular, right? He created of God in the image of God, in his own image, man, God. So now it's all singular. But it's like the same language. So you have like one God creating in the singular, but again, he's addressing a group of being, in my opinion, and says to them, let us make men in our image. But then he proceeds to create alone.
Yeah.
Obviously, this group, according to Job 38, would be the sons of God, right? That were shouting and singing.
So the ba, we were in, at, or by. And the preposition for in our image is a ba.
Yeah.
Back to this again. In, at, or by. At our image, let me just interchange this real quick. In our image, at our image, by our image. By our image seems as if it would be just as appropriate. But
Yeah. According to our likeness, yeah, there's different. It's not the same.
yeah, and this is the kaf,
Mm-hmm.
which again is as or like. Yeah, as or which according to is very appropriate.
According, yeah.
As or like,
yeah.
our likeness.
Yeah. Okay. In our image as our likeness.
But this word, na'asa, actually, there's some complicated parsing.
Yeah, no, it's the same word that appeared like God made the firmaments, or we translate it as bearing, made.
This is way too much information on a page for me to. There's just too.
Focus. Yeah, it's like wait, what?
I think that they're just talking about it says Hebrew parsing tag, so I think it's just a breakdown. Yeah, it says this is a legend, so it's not specific to the breakdown of this word. The V, it's trying to define what V is verb, call is the tense it's in. It's imperfect. Well, actually, I forget what the call, nifal, hofal, all those different forms. I don't know if those are referred to as tenses.
I'm not sure.
That because then there's the imperfect, the perfect, the all those different. Yeah. Part of speech. Stem. The
Perfect,
stem.
imperfect.
It's the stem. That's the word I was forgetting. Those are stems. So, and then aspect. Yeah, I'm brushing up on my grammar. lexicon in my brain again, because goodness gracious. But yeah, this is a very hype word. There's a lot of scholarly works done on what this means.
Yeah, yeah.
And
One word, you know. Welcome to the Hebrew Bible.
it's a tough one. Um, so I was looking into these other verses, sons of God, cross references. Um, this is an interesting one with the whole Exodus. Then you shall say to Pharaoh, thus says the Lord, Israel is my son, my firstborn. So I said to you, let my son go so that he may serve me. But you have refused to let him go. Behold, I will kill your son, your firstborn. Which, I mean, on its face, I look at this as, oh yeah, I mean, this is just metaphorical. But even if that's the case, which it seems to be, it still seems cumbersome, knowing that Jesus is God's one and only Son. It seems to me, maybe it's because of my Western thinking.
I
My
I
my
think it is
my
because you said one and only son, right? But where is that in the Bible? Because it's not there. You see, the
what
word again is monogene, right?
my only
Monogene is
what
one. Mono is one, and gene is a kind. So it's the one of a kind Son of God, not the unique, not the only begotten, not the only one. It is the one of a kind. So John 1:18, right, should read, no man has ever seen God, the one of a kind God who is near the Father. He has exegesed or made him known. Or John 3:16, right? God so loved the world, or God loved the world in this way that he gave his one of a kind son, monogene, right? And I can bring up Hebrew chapter 2, where it says that Jesus is in the assembly and he's confessing our name before his brothers. And again, we would go back to divine counsel and all that stuff.
because it well on the Blue Letter Bible, used of only sons or only daughters.
Single of its kind.
Yeah.
You see, they put single of its kind. That's one of its kind. That's the literal meaning of monogenic. The perfect example is that in the Septuagint, right? Isaac is called the monogene of Abraham. Well, Isaac is not the firstborn or the only son or the only begotten of Abraham, right? But he's still the monogene of Abraham. He's the one of a kind son. He's the son of the promise.
I thought that when Isaac was in that situation about to be killed, he was the only son of Abraham at that time. So
well, Ishmael came first.
Eve is a different
Right.
that would be a different mother.
But the monogene is not rendered according to the mother, but according to the father.
Because of Gunas?
So, for example, the firstborn son of Israel or Jacob, right? He doesn't have four firstborn sons because he has four wives. He only has one firstborn son, even though he has four wives, right? It's supposed to be Reuben, but the title is taken away from Reuben and given to Joseph.
Sorry, Genos, kind.
Yep.
The word kind.
So again, John 1:18 should be translated as, no man has ever seen God, the one of a kind God who is near the Father, he has exegesed him.
This, I mean, and this is saying single of its kind, one of
Well,
its.
yeah, one of a kind. There's no other sons of God who is like this son of God. He is the monogene, the one of a kind, right? But that doesn't mean that he is the only son of God. It means there's no one like him, basically. There's no other God besides me. That's what it means in a nutshell, right? One of a kind.
So when you think that Strong's is taking liberties when he says that one who is in the one who in the sense in which he himself is the son of God has no brethren. You think that the Strong's concordance is taking liberties to say that?
Yes, because let me show you what it says in Hebrews chapter 2, right?
Hebrews what?
2. Hebrews chapter 2, right? Verse 12, he says, that is Jesus, I will declare your name to my brothers, the other sons of God, basically. Jesus says, he will declare your name, right? In the divine assembly, he will sing your praises. So Jesus says, I will declare your name to my brothers. Wait, Jesus has brothers? Who is he?
Yeah.
Who is he? He's talking about you to his brothers. What does that mean?
Well, brethren isn't always, what is it? The word sanguineal or co-sanguine. It's not always blood. Is my point.
But I don't mean it because the sons of God in heaven, they don't have blood. They're not made of flesh and blood. So I understand that. But he's talking to his brothers in the assembly. I believe the assembly here is a reference to the divine council. He's talking to his brothers about us.
Is it referring to the body of Christ, as in the church, the body of Christ, the church? Is that what you mean when you're saying the phrase divine council?
No. The divine council is a heavenly council with all the angels of God where they attend. There's thousands upon thousands attending him, praising him, singing songs, and so on, worshiping him in heaven.
This word, by the way, adelphos, and or the word brethren, it shows up a lot in the Bible.
I know it's fringe. I know it's fringe, and I know if you don't start from my paradigm or my bias, I understand it's fringe for you. But for me, when I read that, it was like, okay, that's incredible to me, right? I was picturing Jesus in the divine assembly in heaven talking about me to his to the other sons of God. I was like, that's beautiful. But I understand it's very fringe if you don't start from my paradigm.
Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren.
Oh yeah, we're brothers in Christ and so on. I understand. Again, that's why I say it's fringe. You know, I understand if you don't. I would have to go back and give you a lot more context so that you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But again, so the concept is that there are many sons of God, right? According to the Old Testament, many sons of God, right? Non-human.
Yes, this
Right?
group of people that is the topic of the evening, that we can't seem to put our finger on
Yeah.
specifically to
And
describe them, who they are, what they are, or how many they are, just that they are.
yeah, well, do you want? I don't know how much time you got left, but if you want, we can go more in depth about it.
Maybe 20 minutes max, I would say, based on
All
what
right, so I think Psalm 89 will give us a lot of context.
All right.
I think that's a good place. So let's go there.
All right.
NIV telling me to have the Psalms.
Uh,
I did a mistake.
is this 89:5? Congregation of the saints, sons of
So I don't know.
the mighty, verse 6.
Okay, so you're reading King James, something like that.
Yeah. It's just the default on Blue
Right.
Letter.
So the heavens praise your wonders, Yehovah. your faithfulness to in the assembly of the holy ones. But the holy ones here are not humans. Because who in the heavens above can compare with Jehovah? Who is like Jehovah among the sons of God? In the council of the holy ones, God is greatly feared. He is more awesome than all who surround him. Who is like you, Jehovah Elohim Almighty? You, Jehovah Almighty, and your faithfulness surrounds.
Give me
Now,
just a second to catch up, because I got distracted looking up Hagion. Because I know this word, but I can't remember. Hagios.
Hagia Sophia, holy
Most
wisdom,
holy
set
thing.
apart.
Okay. So I was just double checking. Because in the Ecclesia Hagion, so the holy church is what the Septuagint says, and in I know this word kadosh to mean holy.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the King James. They translate it as saints.
Mm-hmm.
Now kahal,
It should be holy ones, plural,
what is kahal?
right?
Assembly. Okay. So the holy
So
assembly, the holy congregation, the holy yeah, that's good enough. The assemblage of holy people, the holy assemblage, congregation of the people as they're fully called, Kahal, Yisrael, blah blah blah. I'm looking at other references. Oh, okay, that's just for that
I'm
one
trying to
word.
find a translation which please me. Uh, yeah, ESV is not that bad, but it's not good enough.
Amona. All right, so
Oh,
you took me here to this verse because you're saying that this congregation of the holy ones is non-corporeal, and we know that because it says the heavens, because the context of the heavens. How do we know absolutely that this congregation of holy ones is not on earth? How can we know that?
well, again, it's because of the context, because of the words, and because we have a reference to the B'nai Elohim and the divine council, or the council of the holy ones. And now I will, if you want to solidify more, we're gonna have to go to Daniel 4. But I just want to make sure that we just soak what we just read, right?
Well, because verse 89:7, God is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints, which I'm guessing is the same. I'm going to just guess that it's probably the exact same. Kadosh, yeah.
Holy ones, yes.
But this is a new word that they use for the assembly. Fascinatingly enough, he doesn't use.
Divine council. Yeah.
Well,
I think it's the Adat Kadosh, something like that. Council, divine council, the council of the holy ones.
this is.
Maybe.
Oh, hold on. Bakode. Or no,
Okay.
sorry, Basode. I never pronounce that as a ka.
So
That's always the Samic is always a sa to me, but the transliteration shows it as a c.
the
Um,
okay.
but it's C as in cyan. It's supposed to be a sa, not a ka. But in the assembly, my point is the two verses above, congregation of the saints, and then two verses down, assembly of the saints. Why did we switch from congregation to assembly is my curiosity there. Especially if we're still referring to the same group of people or beings.
Of beings, yeah. Well, because for example, verse 6, right? Is there any in the heavens who can compare to Jehovah? Who among the gods, Elohim? Again, there's a textual variance there, Bene Elohim or Elohim. But who among the gods is equal to Jehovah? God is respected in the council of the holy ones. God is awesome and revered more than all those around him. Are men's around God? Are men part of an assembly in the sky where God is? Obviously not, right? So
You know what's weird here?
if I could, I would be reading your mind.
Yeah, sorry, man. Um,
That's just a joke. Bad joke.
at the end of this, Bene, no, Bibene, but Bibene Elim. Okay, so it says
Okay.
Elim or Elim. Okay, which makes me think of the word Elohim. But
Well,
that,
Elim is like mighty, but yeah, but it's not really mighty because a mighty is a gibor, and mighties would be a giborim.
well, all I'm saying is here in the
Uh,
blue letter it says Jehovah instead of Elim.
Ben El, son of God, Ben El, son of God. I saw Ben El, but again, yeah. So again,
Ben El, Ben El. Okay, I got
son.
you.
But yeah, it's again verse 6. It's a textual variance. But who among the gods or who among the sons of God is equal to him? Who in the sky or the heavens can compare to him? God is greater than all those who are around him. Who is like you, God of the heavenly host, basically Lord of hosts, right? So it is just the host, the heavenly host. We have that language. Who is like you, Lord God of the heavenly host, right? Like, so this whole passage is about how he is greater than all the other heavenly hosts, basically.
And then verse 7 with the and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. Um,
And I
about
believe we see this language like in Revelation and so on when we have the 24 elders, but there's thousands upon thousands and so on. And we have that language in Daniel, which we can move next.
yeah, Daniel 4. Let's wrap it up on that maybe.
Yeah. All right.
This is definitely going to be one of
I
those
think
dun 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 to be continued.
so. It would be Daniel 13 first. Or is
Oh,
Daniel 4, Daniel 4 verse 13. Daniel 4 verse 13.
un momento. I saw
Sure.
in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and an holy one came down from heaven. So
There you
Daniel
go.
did
That's the kicker. The Holy
Daniel.
One came down from heaven, right? The saint, the Kadosh, he came down from heaven, and he's also called a watcher.
Oh, so this is the Aramaic section. You know, there's not all of Daniel is written in Aramaic. A lot of it is,
I
but
know. Yeah.
not all. Yeah.
I think the end is in Hebrew, but the beginning is Aramaic. Or I know it's
Yeah.
not that easy, but
Shemayan. It's so funny.
Shemayim is the same word. Heaven.
Well, in Hebrew, Shemayim is the word for heaven, and
Yeah.
in Aramaic, it's Shemayin. There's a lot
Oh,
of,
yin. I didn't.
and then
Yeah, I thought it was in.
Kadosh in Hebrew, Kadish in Aramaic. There's a lot of similar,
Hmm?
yeah. And
Yeah,
anyway,
I thought it was literally Shomayim, but it's Shomayin. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was the same word at first.
waking, watchful, wakeful one, watcher, angel. I'm looking at this word ear, um,
Yeah.
a guard, a name of angels in the later Hebrew, from their guarding the souls of men. Daniel 4:10, 14, and 20. Used in Syriac liturgies, archangels as of Gabriel. So ear, the word that's used there, could also um, be referring to archangels.
Well,
And yeah.
yeah, I think which with that which drive the points as to establishing who are the holy ones is the fact that it calls him a watcher, and then it says a holy one coming down from heaven, right? So we know
Yeah, but
again,
it's
like,
how are we saying that those are the same? Because the and holy one. It's almost like when I read this, I think we're talking about more than one entity.
okay, well, we are not, but give me a second. We're gonna go to the next verse. The next verse.
How is the and holy one not a demarcation of an extra entity?
Because this class, I don't think there's the end the second time. That's why I will just make sure before I speak. Okay, so let's go to verse 17, right?
In Daniel 4?
Yeah, same thing, just verse 17. Yeah.
This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones.
Okay, because there's no end in my translation. The sentence is by the decree of the watchers, the decision by the word of the holy ones. It just flows like this. We're gonna have to. Is there an end in the Hebrew?
Va is usually the, let's see,
Yeah.
or oo. It could be
Because
oo.
I'm reading the ESV, right? So not sure
Gotcha.
if they did a good job there.
So it's this word umemar. Let me see if that's the right one. And the demand sha'elah. Sha'elah. No, there's not a specific. It's translated in the KJV
Let's
that
just
way, but the curiosity is why. Let me see this memoir. By the word. See, it's almost like it should be and by the word. Hold on. Well, it is. They're just throwing the end at the beginning. So you could read it as this matter is by the decree of the watchers, the demand, and by the word of the holy ones. So, because that's where the and is on Maymar. But then again, all these conventions for where and how you translate and where you rearrange words has to do with the nuance of the language and how its form is compared, because the form is not a direct absolute literal word for word like
no,
language.
I don't want to draw too much, but I think I want to go to First King now.
First Kings.
Yeah, just to establish, because here the concept here is that the sentence, so it's a sentence, is by the decree. It's a sentence which has been decreed, right, of by the watchers or of the watchers. The decision is by the word of the holy ones, that the end of the earth may know that the Most High rules, basically. So it's a decree. And this is that's what's taking place in the divine council. They are having a council, a meeting. They're decreeing things.
It's
right?
a decree and a demand. Those are obviously they're different words, but demand is not a reemphasis of decree, right?
Well, it's a sentence. It's a sentence which is
I'll ask it
imposed.
in a different way. I'll ask it in a different way.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is it possible that a group of watchers are giving a decree and holy ones are giving a demand as separate entities, or is it
It could, but I would never see it like this.
Okay.
coming from my
First Kings. Where are we
But
going?
First Kings, chapter 22.
Thanks for
First Kings.
hopping in and tackling this with me this evening. I appreciate you hopping in and
Hey, dude, I like this. Anytime you want to talk about this, you hit me up and we go on all night if you want.
yeah, man, I got you. All right. So First Kings
Let,
22.
yeah, and start. Let's go 19. 19.
Okay. I'm going to read mine. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left.
Right there, right? All of the hosts of heaven. He sits on his throne in heaven, and all of the hosts of heaven are on his right and on his left.
And here we have a whole new word, Savah, which is funny
The
as a French.
Sabbath, the Lord of hosts.
Well, the reason I say it
Sabbath.
with a V is because there's no dot, but that's the Masoretic, you know.
They put it there. Sabbath. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see the
Pronounce it.
pronunciation is Savah. So if there's a dot in the bait, there it's supposed to be a ba. If there's not a dot, then it's supposed to be a va. And then the question that I always have when we go over it's been over a decade since I took Hebrew, um but anyway, my curiosity was like, how did these Masoretes know unless it was, like supposedly they knew what they were
Yeah.
doing, but I don't know. Um,
No, I would say not always. I would say they did the best they could coming from their paradigm, but I can show you problems. But I guess that's for another time.
for
So you
another
can
time.
keep reading 20. Well, or you can skip 21 if you want to talk about the entities and what they are etymologically or no, ontologically, like verse
Etymologically.
21. Yeah, dude, bear with me, okay?
um, so host, war, army, battle, service, appointed time, warfare, soldiers, company. I just wanted to go over the potential other um, what that means, the host.
Oh
But
yeah, they can be called the armies of heaven. Yeah, the armies of heaven could
yeah,
be a translation.
standing by him. So where am I supposed to be going right now?
Oh, just keep reading if you want. It's a couple of verse
And the Lord
20.
said, "Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?" And one said oh my gosh, and one said on this matter, and another said on that matter. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee. But
So
Zedekiah,
there you
sorry, go
saw
ahead.
how a decree, how a sentence is decreed in the divine council, right? So God take his place on his thrones, right? All of the armies of heaven are around him, and they are spirit. They have spiritual body, as we spoke before. They're not men. They're not animal. They are spiritual, right?
Uh-huh.
So a spirit comes forth, right? And gives him an idea. I will go and do that. God says, yeah, that's a good idea, right? He makes the decree official, and then it says, therefore the Lord had did this basically. But you see how it's a council thing, and one says one thing and the other says another, and then one comes in front of the Lord and says, hey, we could do this. Lord says, how? He says, I'll do that. He says, yeah, that's a good idea. Go and do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's an interesting how all of this relates with each other it seems to be a pretty significant and important thing to it,
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna
all
fi-
of
we're gonna
you
get
could.
we're gonna figure it all out when we get there, and he's gonna make things pretty clear when we get there. I can only assume, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, trying to figure that stuff out is yeah. Wow.
Well, yeah. So basically, again, if you want to do other talk about that or anything, you get me. I like I'm still discovering things about this because that's also kind of a new paradigm to me. But I'm open to it because I don't think it diminish or does anything to our God and our faith, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is still one Most High, right? God Most High. So to me, I'm open to the paradigm and I look into it, and it makes sense that there is such a thing as a heavenly assembly or a heavenly council
It very much
where
appears to
all
be the
yeah,
case. Yeah.
where all of the host of heaven gather, and the Lord is the one who presides over them. He is
Hmm.
mightier, he is superior, he is their God, he is the God of gods, as the Psalms calls him. Right?
Sure does. And that's always been like oh potentially over metaphorical in the minds of the readers um, of that. Maybe it's not meant to be taken as metaphorically um, as it is,
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, coming from the paradigm of the flat earth here, right?
hmm
Understanding that the Bible called the armies of heaven, the host of heaven, the stars,
yeah,
right? Deuteronomy 4, verse 19. It says, when you see the host of heaven, all of the stars, when you see the armies of heaven, he equates that to the stars. It says, don't worship them, right? And so now, if they are these sons of God and they attend God, right? The whole thing is that we have a physical, again, council taking place where God sits on a throne, literally, having a presence, a body where he sits on a throne. And that's harder. That's hard for a lot of people. But yeah.
yep. Good topics. I found a beautiful new language resource tonight. Um, this unfolding word Hebrew grammar uh, just appears to be extremely extensive and nicely organized, not overly cluttered. Um, not overly cluttered, but breaks everything down into as many categories. Yeah, this is just beautiful. Um, I mean, look at this. You just take this, right? Um, the paradigm of the word tov as far as adjectives go, and you get to see all the tov, tov, hatov, tova, tovath, hatova, tovim, tovi, hatovim, tovath. Anyway, this is just really cool. I haven't seen any resources this scholarly and college like. Um, you could teach yourself how to do biblical Hebrew with this website. Um, it looks like an entire Hebrew course or Hebrew, what do they call those? Textbook, basically, in a website. So so that's really cool. Um, anyway, thanks for joining, Aaron Rice Ray,
Yeah, good.
and
Pleasure, man. Anytime.
I don't feel like we got too far in learning, but wrestling with God's word and contemplating God's word will always render a good thing. So that's something we can celebrate for sure. And yeah, anyway, I always end my live streams by saying I at least I try to remember to say follow Yahweh not your way. And anyway, I'm done with my live stream. Thanks for joining tonight, guys. And as far as the link for the website, I will post that.
Awesome.